Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Wendy.
And welcome to the
Toasted Marshmallow Adventures Podcast.
Woo! Today, via Zoom from Mountain Home, we've got comedian Eugene Bassham.
Woo!
Welcome.
Yeah. It's been a while coming.
Yeah.
We initially saw you at the Idaho Comedy Fest. Is that right?
Yeah. I think you were.
That was back in May.
Yeah. So we're so happy to have you.
I'm
you
glad
were hosting, and I don't think we've actually ever seen you do a set. I've just seen you host once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, during the festival I did a lot of hosting, and they had us. It was like so many shows going on the different floors, so I was all over the place. So yeah, you guys were doing your show as well. So
way up top.
It's hard to have fun when you're working.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see as much comedy as we wanted to because we were slammed. But I just want to say this podcast was supposed to be in person.
It was, yeah.
But our area between us and you is insanely covered in snow.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh yeah.
Did you drive today?
No, I actually have a Toyota Tundra. So I think I would have made it to at least the grocery store, but I just figured, you know what?
It's not worth it. It is not worth it.
We'll eat ramen, relive our college
You are
days.
welcome here anytime that it's safe to come.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. I mean,
I
know you guys are good friends with Jen Adams and the Lounge at the End of the Universe.
Love them both. Yes. Yeah.
And so I was like, let me hit them up and everything, because I like to kick off this new year well and meet good people and everything like that. So it's like I need to start networking more.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. Yeah, because that's our intention too.
Yeah,
it's just to go hard, meet great people. Yeah, help each other rise. The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I enjoy sharing laughter, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, that's the thing, is that I know you guys like to laugh and have fun. And then I saw the name and I couldn't figure out where Toasted, all kind of stuff was going through my mind, but where Toasted Marshmallows come from. And I was like, well, maybe they some, half-baked white folks, and that's cool.
It could be.
It might be right.
That happened on a ski trip. It was
Oh, how we came up with the name. Yeah, it was kind of a fluke, and then we stuck with it, and it was just on brand with us. And
my wife was like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say, from the Idaho Comedy Fest, you gave out those SALT bracelets. I wore mine until it actually broke off, and I don't know where it is. Like, I love stuff like that. So do you do that at every show, or?
Well, if I can afford to, I'll give out as many as I can. And I just love the meaning. I don't know. It kind of just hit me like, doing that, that salt is good is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
And that's sharing a laugh together is good.
Yes.
And so I came up with that, and then I kind of like want to push that as my brand, because I don't care who you are, if we can share a laugh together, at least that's part of getting along. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
And in this climate, everybody, we need to, even this Zoom, somebody sitting in their house who's stuck will at least be able to maybe share a laugh with us,
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a great concept. Okay, so just looking at the Zoom, is our picture supposed to be there?
Well, we're not actually playing the Zoom.
Okay.
So
it will
be there.
Oh, there we are.
I'm just gonna keep it up there with the sound down in case we get your
my Aunt Libby's there.
Your aunt's watching us.
Hi, Libby Leland.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you on tonight.
Nathan Scott Ford.
Oh yeah, he's watching. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you on tonight. We've been scouring, your Instagram and things like that.
Can I just say one more meeting we had?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember? It was the bathroom at the lounge.
Was I coming in or you?
You came in. And you're
and you were
sorry,
washing your
sorry.
hands,
And
and I was
no,
like, my
it's
bad.
good.
Yeah, you're the only person that I've walked in on. So yeah, I actually do remember that you were washing your hands, and I was just glad.
I was like, we're good. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with all this COVID stuff going on, I was happy that you were washing your hands. You wouldn't, you know.
Yes, I'm always washing.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
All right. Okay, you can go.
Oh, yeah. So now I was looking now, and I've kind of seen you around here and there at shows. How many kids do you have? Let's start off with that, because I heard it's a lot.
I'm guessing 6. That's what I heard.
Okay, well, we're gonna start a bit now. What
Yeah.
What do you think? How many you think I
think
have?
I've heard 6.
Okay, so you know what's terrible is now I have to say 9, and y'all just said 6. And so yes, I have 9 kids.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so and I always get, especially like little old ladies, like will always say, you know, do you really have 9 kids? I'm like, who volunteers to pay that much child support? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Dang, that is amazing.
So, a lot of kids. And are you guys all in one household?
No. Majority of my children are in Nashville, and actually are adults. Like half of them are adults. And so, and then the rest are 2 teenagers, and then 11-year-old and 9-month-old.
Whoa.
So I thought I was done at 11 months, and then I remarried, and my wife told me she was pregnant. I was like, "You sure you don't have COVID?" You know,
right?
I was like, you know, there's similar symptoms, and you know, your body starts aching.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
9 kids.
Yeah, my oldest is 28, and you know, so
yeah.
So 28 and 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
and so
spread.
before you ask, yes, I had my first very young. I was 12 when my girlfriend got pregnant.
Wow.
She was 13 because I like older women. And
you knew it then.
Nice.
Wow.
But and you know, and that's the thing is I actually when I was a teenager, because I had a kid at a young age, it was an organization that asked me if I wouldn't mind talking to other teenagers as far as preventative wise, like teen pregnancy prevention. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and that literally they would give me like gift cards and and then any diapers that got donated to the organization, they would pass them around to the other teens in the program. But like between public speaking, talking about teen pregnancy prevention, and you know, and working a side gig with a paper route, because I wasn't old enough to have my own route.
Whoa.
I just convinced this crackhead to sign up for the route, and I would run it. It was like, look, man, I'm gonna give you $10 a day. You know, he's like, oh wow, you got to give me my $10 up front.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you got to buy diapers.
Where was this? In
Nashville. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Dang.
And then how'd you end up in Boise?
Oh, I got imported.
Imported with the military?
Basically, yes. My wife is active duty Air Force. But
okay, we were wondering.
Since you're home, you know.
Yeah, and I was prior Navy, and so when we had our son, people asked us what we were gonna call him, and I was like, well, you know, he's flying seaman, you know, half her, half me.
That's really good.
Yeah. Jeez.
Wow.
Jake Martin said you are a legend with 9 kids.
I have a legacy. I don't know about a legend yet.
Yeah,
but I do have a legacy.
We can't do 2 and a dog.
Yeah, we're like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I think I would have an issue more with a dog because, like, I mean, I've always been good at like finding people I can trust to babysit, you know, but as far as like, you can't just trust anybody with your dog, you know. At least your kid can tell you, you know, you'd be like, but your dog would just look at you like, and then you'd be like, oh, he's pretty needy today.
Yeah. Must have missed us.
Right.
He's traumatized.
Yeah, that's true.
Jeez. So you have a show tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, and I hope that it doesn't get canceled because I think it's gonna be a fun night. And I it's kind of like one of those things I like to finish off the year doing what I love to do. And when I was in the karate school, I grew up in a karate school basically, and we would spend the night at the karate school and kick it through the new year. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and that's and so that was like my thing. And so that always was my tradition is anything that, I'm enjoying or I want to do other than construction. I didn't want to like do carpentry in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I mean, the police don't like that. I've had them walk up
the
to
neighborhoods
me.
don't like that.
Like, I'm just trying to finish this roof before it rains.
Yeah.
Put some plastic over it and get down before we.
Call it a night.
We have a noise ordinance in Nashville.
Yeah. Do you have this?
Oh,
on
I do.
you?
So you're thinking like do comedy until the new year. Go out with a bang tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I would love
lounge.
to do that. Oh yeah,
the lounge is our favorite place.
I mean, it's so fun for adults. Like I like being around 20, 30, 40-year-old people who love to laugh and chill. You know what I mean? As opposed to like I've gone to some big college shows and you could just smell the ADHD. I mean, I literally, it's like if I'm not doing punchlines back to back, then it's like they're looking down at their phone when I'm telling a story. And I'm a storyteller. I mean, I try to be funny, but for the most part, it's like I just like it's easier for me to tell a story and put humor in it than for me to try to remember a bunch of punchlines that they could be fun, but they're not meaningful. I like sharing like my experiences as a teen parent and as a parent. I mean, because some people will be like, hey, I've come a long way, but it ain't easy when you can't even get a job by law, to take care of a kid.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And and when you have to go to your grandmother and tell her you got this girl pregnant, you're gonna die, but you also don't know exactly how. So,
your grandma.
So when she tells you to go to your room, it's like, is that what it's like? We just had the adult situation, but now I just got sent to my room. So now I'm sitting there
watching that weird.
Watching the A-Team, wondering, what's gonna happen.
Wow. We just had a hey you three from Nate.
Oh, from Nate. Yes. Hello, Nate Ford.
What's up, brother?
That's I wish we could have gone to
brother from another mother.
That roast last night.
I know.
Were you at the Santa roast?
No, I didn't. I actually was at the same venue and I played Dirty Santa.
Oh,
did you?
Yeah, I wasn't too dirty. I wasn't dirty at all, actually. I just, only they had me take a couple pictures with some whips, and but other than that, we just joked around and had fun. But the roads here were still a little iffy the other day, so I just was like, if I don't have to go into town, then I'll just stay in. Work on catch up, and then I'll be kind of moving around and doing some work all the month of January on the East Coast. So I'll be
really? Wow.
So I'll be in Georgia, and I'll probably be. They got a bar down there called Totally Awesome Bar, and so it's actually in a basement. It's a full bar. It's got like at least like 4 or 5 pool tables, a huge like little seating area, and it's all 90s theme. And so when you go down there, the bar actually has cassette players that have been enameled into it. I guess epoxy And so it's a epoxy bar, but
that's cool.
Up underneath that clear coat is all cassettes. And you be like, I remember that cassette.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always at the warehouse buying new cassette tapes whenever something new came out.
I did that thing where you got them for a penny.
Oh, you get the penny. You get like
Columbia House
20, and then your credit is ruined for life.
Oh yeah, I've been saying Columbia House got a lot of people. I mean, it's probably people
for sure.
Yeah, they probably making bank off selling all that old debt around.
Definitely,
it's like. Right. And you don't care until you buy a house, and then it's like Columbia House says you owe them $29.99, and you're like, oh god,
these cassette tapes.
Right.
Nate just said the show was canceled last night or postponed. The roast.
Oh,
yeah, due to weather. So and it's way worse today.
Yeah,
we just went like it wasn't that far. Sheet of ice.
Yeah,
to get here. Yeah. So I'm really glad you are where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. No. Yeah, I was feeling bad because I really wanted to do this podcast.
We'll be here. You can come anytime.
Yes.
Awesome.
Just let us know. Yeah, the amount of there's so many more people in the state. So I feel like it's scarier now.
It is. Yeah, people are driving like shit out there.
Yeah. Well, the issue is it's kind of like so I'm from Nashville, but I live in Savannah as well. Okay. And so for at least 10 years. And whenever it snows in Savannah, which is very rare, nobody, even we've had and I was with the fire department, we had one of our trucks slide over into a ditch.
Oh my gosh.
On the way to a call, and still made it to the call.
Nice.
To help out. It's like they were quick enough to be able to pull him out the ditch and other engines, replace him. But it was kind of smooth how the transition was, but it was hilarious because he's what we call a super firefighter. It was like, man, you stuck in the ditch while everybody else working.
Right.
And it was hilarious. And that was like the first time they had that much ice on the ground in 100 years.
Wow.
And usually you may get black ice under the underpasses during the winter, but you don't usually get any snow. You may get some rainfall, and then it'll go below freezing. But in Nashville, I was used to the snow, and so I noticed that here is like Nashville. The people who are not from here have a hard time, and they think they know it all, so they get out there. And like I told you, I was like, they don't have snow tires where I'm from because they don't usually ever get that bad.
Right.
And so I was like, but here, I'm like,
and
if y'all
got a Prius, you're like, I don't think I'd survive that crash. No, you wouldn't.
Right. No. The Prius would be very disappointed at me if I took it out in the snow. It'd be like, I can't even see myself in all this
white.
I
can't believe you're doing this to me, man.
Yeah.
I was terrified the first time. I think y'all call it an invergence.
Oh yeah, inversion.
Yeah, man. The first time I was in one of those fogs that's so dense you can't see yourself. Yeah. I was terrified. I thought I hit something. I slammed on the brakes. I mean, and I was going 90. You know what I mean? It was like, I was going 89 in a 80. Yeah, I locked mine in at 89, 88, and I was just trucking, and then all of a sudden I hit a wall of fog.
Oh,
and I was like, man, this is the second white thing that's tried to kill me in Idaho.
How long have you lived here?
We've been here, I guess it's probably been close to 16 months.
Not that long.
No.
Yeah, majority of that has been, so we've had 2 winters, but so we came late, I guess that would be 2020, so late in 2020. And then, so we experienced the winter, but we also, going back and forth between my wife's hometown, Savannah, and here, and then we had the baby, and so the Air Force gives you a total of 3 months now for maternity leave.
Oh wow!
And so we spent majority of that in Georgia, and so literally she was on maternity leave when I did the festival. And so I came back for the festival and then flew back to Georgia to finish it, or not finish, but help take care of her and the baby.
Wow. I think I saw posts about that. Somehow we weren't Facebook friends, but maybe Jen,
Instagram,
I don't know. Maybe Instagram. I don't know. Yeah.
You probably thinking about the fundraiser. Yeah.
Fundraiser? What's fundraiser?
Something bad happened.
Yeah, I went to jail right after the festival.
Okay.
I went to jail.
I actually did. I think I saw a fundraiser. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was trying to take
jail.
It's very interesting. It's not what I thought it would be.
A county jail?
Yes, it was. It was, and it was right down the street from my house. So like they didn't even have to go far. It was like I could still hear the same railroad track. And I was like,
it's like I'm at home.
Yeah. And you know how it is. Once you get used to it, you kind of on the same wavelength as that railroad, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so so I can't really go into like too many details because like I'm on bond, but basically it was a self-defense situation that didn't go well, and so I end up being charged and going to jail. So, but my lawyer is a great lawyer, and even the judge who did my bond hearing was like, you could like when you look at people's facial expressions, you could tell it's like, why is this even in front of me? You know what I mean?
Good.
Like, so I got back from the festival and I told my wife, I was like, hey, you've been taking care of the baby by yourself. Cause I was, in Idaho, go to the beach with your friends. I'll take care of the baby. So I was taking care of the baby. Someone who was evicted came in and I'm like, hey, you need to go. And that's where the altercation happened.
Oh my gosh.
And so like he literally blindsided me while I was trying to put the baby down, because I could tell, like you could like, I read facial. I work with special needs kids. And so majority of my training when I work with them was like mostly nonverbal. Like when you're dealing with autism and Tourette's, and those were my main students. You look and listen
you're scanning for it.
Yeah, so like his body language wasn't right and everything, and it made me nervous. So I was like, let me put the baby down. And as soon as I put the baby down, he came at me. And so I went to jail. And this is, it's totally crazy. So I went to jail. And the first thing they asked me when I went to jail was, who did I want searching me, a male or a female, right? And so I was like, so I thought I had choices. I looked and it was just better for a dude to search me. It's like, it's like the only female fingernails were so long that I was like,
no, thank you.
And the thing is
were you freaking out?
Man, I'd never been to jail. So the only time I ever even experienced jail was when I was a kid. I was 11 years old. They took us to a Scared Straight program. Because I grew up in a housing project. So it was always like preventative type of programs. Like you remember DARE?
Yeah.
So you had DARE where you just said no to drugs. And then you had this Scared Straight program. And so I remember going there and everybody was like, oh yeah, you're gonna be delicious if you ever come in here. And
it's like, oh no.
Yeah, and it was like, and my eyes changed colors. I have green eyes that can change from like grayish to grayish blue. And so they're like, oh, them pretty eyes, boy.
Oh no.
I would just love to hold you at night. And I'm like, oh Lord. So
man. And problem.
But when you grow up in a tough neighborhood, talk is cheap. So, but my imagination, and that's how it is when you have this like comedic mind, you have an imagination. Mm-hmm. So in my imagination, I'm thinking, man, what if like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings was my cellmate? So I never got in trouble because the last thing I wanted was like Gollum from Lord of the Rings calling me new boo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but like, so it was like, that was my whole thing, is like, I was most definitely not going to be anybody's boyfriend or any of that stuff. So I just, and plus I'm not a troublemaker in that sense. It's like, if, and by the time I was even old enough to even think about how to get in trouble, I had a kid and I wanted to be in my kid's life. So it's like, so at 11-year-old, and then I have a kid. I was like, if I go to jail, then my daughter won't have a dad.
Wow. So were you mature enough? I mean, were you like more mature than I was at 11 or 12?
That is probably.
Oh God, Nate
said, I question my sexuality every time I stare into Eugene Basham's eyes. I can't imagine him in prison.
The truth is, he does stare into my eyes.
Nate.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we go to a lot of the same shows together. Like anytime I can get him on a show with me, or I can put on a show and have him headline, I put on, because I mean,
we love Nate.
His talent is just awesome. It's
and
like,
he's an awesome dude. And I'm not just saying that because you're listening, Nate.
No,
we love Nate.
Friend of
ours. So what you guys have to look out for is we're doing a sketch comedy show now.
Oh, cool.
And in this sketch comedy show, Nate decided he wanted us to do a eulogy of him. Yeah. And so you gotta come for that show, because
when is
we're
that?
Gonna be I want to say the date is the 15th and 16th. Well, I think the full show is on the 16th, and part of the show is going to be on the 15th. We'll be opening up for a headliner, basically doing a couple skits to kind of give you a preview of what's to come the following day. And that'll be like a full sketch comedy show.
Cool.
And it'll be on the lines of Mad TV /SNL / what Boise has to offer. And we'll be bringing people in as well.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Where's
that going to be at?
It'll be at the Watson Mystery Cafe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We've been there.
And then we're doing I'm doing a vaudeville show with, and Jen, she loves like that old vaudeville Muppet type of deal. Yes. And so she's put a puppet show together.
Is that the Yum Num?
Yes.
Oh, and, we love that. When is that?
Our first full show will be in February. We pushed it to February because it's going to be such a variety of talent.
Will Helium be there?
They may be. We will have 2 musical guests on each show, and who it'll be, because each show will be different. This one is going to be a preempt to Valentine's. Okay. And so it'll have a little bit of a theme to it, but it's going to also be hilarious.
I love it.
I'll be doing a stand-up spot, and I have my own segment called Inside the Puppet with Eugene Bassham. And so I'll be interviewing some of the puppets, getting a little background.
Oh, nice.
Letting you know their history, their drug use.
Yeah. Nate just said he loves the Yum Num. Yeah. We saw him at the only one we've been to.
Yeah, the one we were to.
We actually rented a place in Boise, an Airbnb. It was for my birthday on December 11th or whatever.
So we could go drink a lot and not
just
have to
walk
go
home.
back to Nampa.
And then the thing was postponed, and we're like,
Yeah.
So we went skiing instead. Yeah, so we're super excited.
I've never gone skiing. We need to have like a mobile podcast of like my first it's like I've never gone hiking before, and this I went hiking for the first time in Idaho, and it was kind of weird because I had I heard about all these different animals that y'all have in nature, y'all don't. And so usually like in Nashville, we don't have, bears. We have the regular stuff, roaches, that kind of stuff.
hike with Chris's son, and Chris for sure thought he saw a cougar. It turned out to be like
a dog,
a yellow lab.
It was someone's dog.
But he's super panicked. He's
like,
the same.
I
He's
was like, mountain lion.
Yeah.
I'm from the Bay Area. I wasn't in the mountains till I came to Idaho.
Yeah. Now, so in East Tennessee, like Gatlinburg area, you will have a little bit more like bears. They have elk, you know.
Okay.
I mean, you can see turkeys trotting in like teams of like 20, you know.
Yeah.
But not in Nashville. I mean, you might see a couple lizards or something like that, a snake that you hadn't seen. But when hiking in Idaho, and it was weird because it was right during the whole big protest and Black Lives Matter type of stuff. And, you know, so, you know, you couldn't kind of congregate too much, but, you know, they didn't limit you to go to parks and stuff like that where it was open air and stuff. Yeah. And so I went hiking, and I kid you not, they had like black bears had a meeting talking about that they weren't going to eat anybody because, you know what I mean? It's like I just walked up on this Black Bears Lives Matter meeting. You know, it was weird because it was like Smokey the Bear was there, Yogi the Bear, it was like all these prominent bears talking about, you know, don't eat black people. We're trying to get them on our side right now because they're coming in here shooting. They shooting us, and all we're doing is eating berries and standing around trying to fish. You know, it's like, and so I was like, man, it's crazy. Everybody's getting it right now. No, we went hiking, and I almost got lost. It's really because like all trees look alike to me, and so it's like,
right?
Yeah.
I was like, I could have sworn I already passed that tree, you know, but you know. Luckily, we made it back to the car and was just fine. We went canoeing, my wife and I, for the first time. That was fun. Yeah, that's what we did, kayak, not the canoe.
I love that.
And but we didn't do any like fast moving water as much as like because my thing is I can swim, but I didn't want to have to worry about, you know, rescuing my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, she'd been and clawed me down. Because literally, like the way we train and rescue, if you have to, knock them out. So not only do I rescue, I get prosecuted for hitting her. You know what I mean?
If you ever want to be really terrified, go on a hike and then stay overnight. Chris and I have done that twice.
Yeah, a little backpacking trip.
It is terrifying. If you're like used to city life.
Yeah.
The sounds, Chris would be like, did you move? And I'm like, nope.
Like something brushed the tent.
Things were touching our tent. We were terrified.
So I don't know if you guys know Moon Deck. You know Moon Deck?
We met him.
Yeah.
Yes. We know him.
So doing Tree Fort, Moon Deck and I decided to go camping, right?
Oh, no.
And so Moon Deck and I and his dog Havoc, or his kid. And I was like, if I didn't know he was gonna bring his kid, I would have brought my kid. And so, like you said, as far as those sounds, so the first night we get there, Moon Deck is feeling good. Let me just say that. Okay. So he's like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and crash because I'm feeling good. And so he goes in his tent. I don't have a tent. I'm sleeping in the back seat of my truck, right?
Oh no.
And all of a sudden, start hearing all these different noises and stuff. And I peek out, and I didn't know porcupines got that big.
Oh
yeah.
Bruh. It was like a gangster. I was like, I don't know why they're not slapping the hell out of anybody that walks in their territory. They just huge. And so Moon Deck, he was like, the next morning, he was like, man, did you see that porcupine? I think he was sniffing around for our trash. And, you know, and he did nibble on a little bit of bread or whatnot. I was like, man, that was crazy. But yeah, you start hearing these sounds and stuff like that. I had an air mattress that like, I looked like a taco inside the back seat of my truck because
I think you were safer in the truck.
I think you were the smart one.
Than in the tent.
We were terrified.
Well, Moon Deck had Havoc. So, you know, so he would at least gave out a good growl or bark if something went down. But we were over in, I think it's called like Anderson Dam area.
Oh, yeah,
National Forest Park over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd never driven over a dam to get to a remote area where there are no black people. I've just never done that before. It's like as soon as the road went to like a dirt road, my red flags start going up because
dang.
Because in Tennessee and in Georgia, you're told you ain't got no business going down a dirt road. It's like ain't none of your houses down a dirt road. Nobody that you know. I was like, I didn't grow up there, so it's like it was funny because
okay.
Yeah, so when I first my first fire call in Valdosta, Georgia, I was turning, and as soon as I turned, like 10 feet after you turn, it turned into dirt. And I was like concerned because the road was narrow. I was like, how am I gonna turn around? And we went on down, but it took us like 30 minutes to back up. That road was so tight in that big engine. But that's just because they wanted me to drive. And that was like, at that time, that was the biggest thing I had ever driven in my life.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a big fire engine, and it was a trash fire. But what made it dangerous was that they were burning tires.
Oh.
And yeah, that's you don't want to do that. It's like it's like yard napalm. It's like it's hard to put it out.
So how do you go from firefighting to comedian? Or are you still a firefighter? Is that
I'm a volunteer, and so they kind of put you on hiatus when, like, because of the military you can get a certain amount of leeway. And so when I'm in the state of Georgia, I can just call my chief and say, hey, put me back on active status.
That's
and
amazing.
I can answer calls as a volunteer, but I'm not on full time. But like my chief, I was hanging out in the bay with my chief, and we were just joking, like, that's what firefighters do. And so he had came in, and it looked like he had his hair dyed black. Okay. And so I was like, geez, man, are you gonna take that from us too? Now you got a black hair dude. And he's like, what? He's like, my hair's always been this color. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I just thought you were gonna take something else from us. We can't even have black hair nowadays. And so we just kept on joking and joking. He was like, man, I've heard comedians all over, and man, you're funny. You should try it. And literally,
you hadn't tried it yet.
No, it was like a year later. I end up talking to my wife, and I was like, what do you think? And she was like, yeah, you should do a few open mics. I'll find some. And she found a few open mics. And 6 years later, I've been doing it ever since. But I've always been the joking type. Even when I went to the Navy, I was in the most trouble for not shutting up. Well, I just couldn't shut up. If you said something, like my petty officer would tell me, like, he would tell the whole group, or division is what we called them, y'all the sorriest bunch of seamen I've ever seen. And I just couldn't help it.
You can't help that.
Yeah, I was, sometimes I'd be like, sir, I don't know why you would be looking at seamen,
You can't help that. That's
too hard. But especially if he asked me, what are you laughing for? What do you find funny? I was like, well, you shouldn't be looking. Yeah, you shouldn't be looking at seamen, sir. And he's like, you're a sorry seaman. That's what you are. I was like, sir, I have kids. None of my seamen are sorry.
That's too funny. Oh God.
And so I had a hard time with that. It's like, the Navy, I never thought that I wouldn't be able to control my laughter, but it was like I get in trouble all the time. And then they want to give people nicknames. Like this one guy, he literally did look like Shrek. So every time Shrek was being yelled at, I would be like wanting to do like an impression of Shrek and be like laughing my butt off. And then it's like, and so literally it was they had a stairwell, like it was stairs going up to the other unit. It's like every time I got in trouble, I had to go stand under the stairwell. Okay. And so it's like even
used to being under there.
Yeah, the chief would walk by and he's like, how long you been under there? I was like, 4 hours. He's like, have you eaten? It's like, no, sir. He was like, all right, well, you need to quit playing with these folks before you start.
Whoa,
he's like, go get
hours of just standing there.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to think they got rid of like real punishment. Like
true.
I went in when they could literally only give you like 50 push-ups at a time. And sometimes they would push the envelope. If you did 50, they tell you to get up, turn around, drop, and get 50 more.
Oh my God.
And so they would be pushing the envelope with that. So after that, and I was a black belt when I went into the military. And so,
awesome.
And I was number 1 in the nation in fighting. And so it was like doing 50 push-ups. They was just looking at me and was like, that's not going to do it.
It was no big deal.
Right.
So Bassham, your real last name?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's just
it worked out for me in competition for sure.
Yeah.
And so my sensei used to always joke that I would always have like a little cheering section. It would be like a few girls who thought I was cute, and they would be like punching their hands like Bassham, Bassham.
Oh, nice.
And I would get hit in the face every time looking over at them. You know what I mean?
Wow, you have had several careers. Several big time things.
Yeah. No, when you got to Idaho, did you just start going to open mics? Is that how you got into the scene here?
It was crazy. I'm pretty destined to do comedy because like literally I got to Idaho and me and my wife wanted to go downtown and kind of walk around and get a feel for the city. And we saw this little place a couple people had ducked into, and we had just grabbed a cookie from a little college cookie store or something. Nice. And so we went into this place, and I just asked the bartender, I was like, hey, where do they do comedy around here? And she was like, oh, they used to do it here. And that ended up being the Liquid Lounge.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, we used to do it here, but one of the comics just walked by. You can ask him. And that's where I met Cade McKnight.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we've been cool ever since. And it's like, so I was immediately able to find those open mics and stuff because, literally like if you're a seasoned comic or you got a good set, then really you just got to show the right people you got a good set and they'll start picking you up. And, thankfully, like I get a lot of gigs through the lounge. I mean, they'll push anybody who's driven. You know what I mean? They want you to do better.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy doing comedy with them. She actually wants me to for the most part. Oh,
well, we saw something about you being the master of all ceremonies now.
Oh yeah, she posted it somewhere. Wow,
yeah. That's awesome. Cool, dude.
Yeah, so that's a big thing for me because
what does that
like
even mean?
That means that anybody who comes through Boise, I will be opening up and letting folks know who they are, and I'll basically get the ball rolling as far as having fun.
Cool.
You know what I mean? And it'll give me an opportunity, to do new material, meet new national artists and stuff like that. And, maybe even, be able to do a little interview with them or whatnot, just to be able to have some more digital content. But I think, I won't say sky's the limit, but I think it'll be fun as far as what we could do with that spot. Yeah. And then I'll still be touring, and I'll just tour in between the different shows that come through the lounge. Because the lounge is going to be the spot as far as
popping.
Yeah, the premiere.
Jake Martin just said the main MC fire. That's awesome, man. Yeah, cool. It's really cool.
He's awesome. It's some good people. What I like about the environment right now in Boise is that everybody is happy for you when you're doing something.
Trying to like push everybody up. That's what we want to be a part of. Is like let's all succeed. Why not?
Yeah. I've done a film since I've been here. I hadn't done any film in in Georgia, but I got here and it was kind of like by happenstance. It's like, Idaho Film Family has a Facebook and they post different festivals.
Yeah.
And so one of the directors and production companies did a casting call. I was kind of too late for, and so I was like, well, if something happens and you need me, I'll make myself available. Well, last minute person drops and he just like, let me try. And we literally like became like best friends, like, cause like we're on the same wavelength. He Pride Navy and he's a cool ass dude. It's Capital B production. And man, it's called the Bodega.
Okay.
And
where can people see it?
You can find it on YouTube right now. And I know he has other links. I just don't know him by heart. But if you type in Capital B production and then Bodega, and he has a few other short films as well. But I always mess with him because I was like, in the film, I get shot and behind the scenes, I'm like killing them. I'm like, oh, y'all would shoot the only black dude in Idaho.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is like, and he thought I was serious at first. He was like, should we rewrite that? I was like, no. I'm like, then it won't make the behind the scenes funny.
Exactly.
And I was like, I just need to die better. It's like if I'm gonna be the first black dude to get shot in a bodega in Idaho, I'm gonna be the best, And so, but it's a loose comedy and it's fun. It's worn at least. I stopped counting after about 25, but every time he enters it into a competition or one of those competitions picks it up, then they it wins. It's won best actor.
We're gonna check
best
it out
actor,
sure.
best comedy, best director. It's won a lot of stuff and it's gotten picked up by another production company in California to do a feature, a 90-minute film, and I got recast for that. And so I got more lines. They may not shoot me right off. And they still decide, did decide they're gonna do some other surprises, but it's fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we're gonna check that out. That's
awesome. Yes. What does your wife think of all this?
She
down?
She pushes me towards all the directions I want to go. You know what I mean? And even when I don't want to go there, she's like, you know what you got to do. And so I do it. But she also has a degree in filmmaking and graphic design. So
that's a good fit.
So it's kind of like, I don't really have to explain to her how the entertainment business works as far as if I'm going to be away from home. So we do have like our talks so that way we get ahead of conversations. You know what I mean? So like this year is going to be a big year as far as me pushing for more big gigs as opposed to I like small venues, but I also understand because of COVID they can't pay as much, and sometimes it's just free. So if you ever go to a free show, just at least friend me on Facebook, or you know what I mean. So at least I know, I'm getting some attention. You know what I mean? Because that's what matters. Like in this media, and I'm just getting used to Facebook. But if I do a paid show, you don't have to like me on Facebook. But if I do a free show,
if it's free and they like you on Facebook, they can just see your future promotions.
Of course.
Next show could be a paid show.
Yes.
And I'm actually starting to do merchandise now.
Oh, cool. Where?
I have a website. It's eugenebassham.onuniverse.com. And so you'll not all of it is posted yet, but that's where it'll be posted at. And any show that I do, you can buy merch. But it's all about, sharing a laugh together is good. And one of them says, stand up for what's funny. that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just fun stuff. I'm thinking about maybe doing one because I tell a joke about an ice cream truck situation. And so I'm thinking about having like an ice cream truck shirt.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'll send you guys some stuff, especially since I know you love the bracelet. I'll send you a few so that way, because I wear them until the wording. So now I know I'm gonna get the next set. I guess they call it embossed or something.
Oh, okay.
Or embroidered.
I don't even know how mine left me. It was on me for months and now it's gone.
You probably were karate chopping somebody.
It might have been. But once I put one of those on, I never take them off. It has to like die.
Yeah,
salt is good on me for months.
Right.
I loved it.
So what do you have coming up besides tomorrow night? We're hoping that one doesn't get canceled.
Yes.
What do you have after that?
I'm filming a Netflix special. No, I'm kidding.
Wow,
no, literally what so we are planning on filming 2 specials at the lounge.
Cool.
And so one of them will be basically family friendly and then the other one will be adult, but I don't cuss, so it'll kind of be like I might say, I don't know. It's like, cause I don't cuss, so I don't even like. So I say niglet, you know. So
that'll be your dirtier one.
But to me, like niglet is night midget. If you took and put that in one word, that's in the hood where I grew up. You had to watch out for nigglets, and so I say that. Somebody else might think I'm referring to the N word and putting it with the little person, and if I use the N word, usually it's just a slip, but it's just kind of sometimes how I talk, you know what I mean? But I don't try to, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't try to be vulgar. I don't, like if I joke about my wife and I's sex life, it's because she makes me dress up like a Pokemon and I don't like it.
That is my sense of your comedy. There was nothing that was like, yikes. No, it's all good. Yeah. So, but it'll be like more centered around what, you might not want your kid to hear, but it's still, it's adult content, not words. Like I don't really cuss just because sometimes you don't need to, you know what I mean? But if I had to, I would. But can I just say, Capital B Films just said, "We love you, Eugene Hart."
Oh yeah, I love them too.
Oh, nice.
They're actually like, I invited the whole crew to, like, my wife and I have never had a wedding, so we're having a wedding, and I invited all of them, and the director and the writer are coming to our wedding. They're like family, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
that's really cool. Wow.
Well, I won't say like family. They are family.
They are family. Friends that are family.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you don't think that like when I first came to Idaho, I didn't think I would make any connections. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like it's the last state that I ever thought I would even visit.
I agree.
But then it surprises you how much love you can get.
That's honestly,
you know what I mean?
What I felt when I moved here. Like, Idaho. You don't hear the greatest things when you're in other states, but it's been amazing.
The Bay Area, California.
I was from Alaska. So it's just.
I was here I'll tell you this. I moved here, I think it was 2005, 2006. And I moved here from the Bay Area in California. I grew up in Vallejo, California, and I did not see a Black person for like 2 weeks.
And Chris was like,
I kid you not. I went to, for a while, not seeing a Black person, to where now what I do is when I go to Walmart, I start counting them. And I still hadn't gotten past 4. And I could have, like, if I counted my wife who's with me, but we're 1, so she doesn't count.
Yeah.
And so it was weird. I left Mountain Home and was driving to Savannah, and I stopped at a gas station, and this was maybe 3 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, and it was just right outside of Mountain Home, this little town, and I paid for because I had to pay inside because it was that kind of small town gas station. Went and used the restroom, washed my hands. I came out, and this little girl like looked up at me and smiled, and she was like, "Hola, mister." And I was like, "Hola." And her mama looked at me and like shook her head. I was like, she ain't never seen a black person before. She thought I was Mexican. I was like,
that's so cute.
I was like, but I said hola back because I love kids, but it was cute. Her mom was like, she was like, she kind of mouthed sorry. Like you don't apologize for your kid saying hi. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what language, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the show, you have a show tomorrow night. What's the details on that? We're hoping it still happens, doesn't get canceled.
And are you the official?
You're the MC for that one? Like,
first
one?
Yeah, so I'll be the first one every time. And this year, like every time since I'll be master of ceremony, it'll be fresh material every time. So it won't be like, unless you stand up and say, tell me this joke, and I'll be like, it's not a joke if it's real life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I'll take some requests because some people will bring their whole family to my shows so that they can hear a particular story.
Oh, dang.
The way I tell it. You know what I mean. Yeah. So, but tomorrow, Ryan Wingfield will be at the lounge, and I'll be hosting that one. And he's hilarious. And it's been 3 years since he's been he has family, but as far as work has been taking him all over the country and the world, that he hadn't been able to get back to do a show.
Cool.
And so he's doing a show. His friends and family will be there, so I'm gonna try to embarrass them.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. But it's funny. That's what comics do. They try to, they try to, they be like, did you work with this guy? They're like, yeah. But I'm a gentleman, and so it's kind of like, I can't help it. It's funny is I saw a lady get out of her car and was headed into the UPS store. And I was thinking, I didn't want to be behind her with all her boxes. And so I rushed out my car and got there, and I opened the door.
Oh,
because in your mind, it's like no matter who you want to be, who you are is not going to change. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, dang it.
Yeah. And so I wanted to beat her inside, but I couldn't because.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
And so, but he'll be there, and I wish I would be back in town for the lineup at the lounge, but check out the Lounge at the End of the Universe website because they got a lot of great comics coming through just in January, almost every weekend of January. And
big name.
Now I'll be back on the 29th, and they will have a SmackDown show.
Yes, we saw that.
And what I'm trying to do is I want to do a bit. It's another semi-pro wrestler who's a comic now in town, and I want to do something with him.
Jeremy Nelson?
Yes, that is Jeremy Nelson. I actually want him to get in his wrestling
I want
leotard,
that too.
And I just want to smack him with baby oil, just drench him with baby oil and see if
I'll pay big money for that.
Right?
Hilarious.
I mean, because he's a big guy. So if I could get a hold of him, even baby oil down, I still think I could defeat him.
Oh, and I want to see that. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
I want to do I want to do the trash talking too. You know what I mean? That before the match type of trash talking.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun. That'll be fun. That'll be on the 29th. I'll be back in town for that. It'll be another artist that'll be coming through who'll be doing a show as well. Because now the lounge has its main floor, but then it has the lounge underground as well,
which is also awesome.
Man, it's nice because the audience is closer to you.
Yeah.
And so it's super easier intimate to interact. And I mean, literally, I could have determined people's birthday based off how close they were.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I mean, you make eye contact and you start moving around, and because I need to work on my crowd work. I'm so stuck into my stories sometimes. I forget the audience is there until they start laughing at me instead of with me. You know what I mean?
It's a cool space. Both places are.
Yeah, we love
totally
the lounge.
Different.
We've done a lot of podcasts from
we had
there.
a party there.
Yeah, our 100th episode party.
Yeah. I wanted to make that one, but then my wife wasn't feeling well, so I just stayed at home.
No, totally understand.
And pretended to take care of her. She's very simple.
Like we're not used to being on the stage like you guys are. So
that was our first live show and being on stage and all that.
It was so fun. So I was so nervous, and it actually, when we walked out, it actually worked. It came naturally, kind of.
Yeah, once we got on stage, we weren't nervous at all, which was nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is those butterflies. Even like I've talked to artists who like are international stars, and like that 30 seconds between
terror.
And it's like it never shakes. It's because everybody has bombed at least once.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
And so that feeling creeps up to remind you to be on point. You know what I mean? To know your stuff. And and so
nice.
I get it. And so it's like when I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I gotta rehearse this, I gotta do that. And so a lot of times, like my son, he loves like crawling all over me when I'm trying to rehearse. So, and I used to be a distraction until I was like, well, if I can make it through my set while he's climbing all over me, that it doesn't matter if the big guy in the front row is eyeballing me like, where you going with this?
Yeah.
So I'm used to a kid like on me.
Right. I was like, man, I got 9 kids. You think you can take me?
Exactly.
They're my biggest critics,
And nobody in the audience could handle 9 kids. I'm almost guaranteeing.
No.
Hey, we're in Idaho. There's people who have 9 kids.
That's true. You're right.
They come up to me after the show.
One point that had 12, and 11 of them were girls. Yeah, 1 son.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that would have been so me and some of my comic buddies, we have all rehearsed the Bad Boys 2 scene of dating.
Yeah.
That would have been so it's like if that would have been the perfect opportunity to do that back to back. You know what I mean? It's like, and then we switch roles. All right, you play Martin Lawrence. I'll do Will Smith this time. And
I love that.
It is because
it is.
He's like, have you ever been to prison?
That's one of my favorite shows.
Jesus.
11 Daughters. That sounds like horror film. That's what Jake Martin said.
You know what? I mean, the painters are always in when you have 11 daughters. Because I don't know if it's true. Does it go in sync when that many women are in the house at one time?
I think it might.
I think it's supposed to, like
a big old
something with the waves in the ocean.
Yeah. They don't even. It's kind of like how how they have those little boxes of shaving kits that come every month. No, they just have a whole UPS box that the whole truck just sits in the yard, and then they just switch trucks each month. They don't even. That's what I could imagine. It's like I used to have an ice cream truck the size of a UPS truck. And man, that was like my favorite truck because I used to feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame in a 15-passenger van that I converted into an ice cream truck. It's like,
so you put the sound on and you drove through neighborhoods, or
yeah, I did the whole thing I did that for almost 6 years, and it was great because like with me having custody of my sons, it gave me flexibility, and so I'm gonna have to plug my phone up.
Oh shoot! Oh,
give me 1 second to plug my phone up. Don't you hate that? Can y'all can still hear me? Okay, right?
Yeah.
But so I end up having the ice cream truck so that I could have the flexibility and everything, and the boys loved it, until they realized they can't get free stuff all the time. They'd have to do their chores,
Yeah.
And so when they started having to do their chores and everything like that, they stop asking for ice cream so much. You'd be like,
exactly.
So I used to have
lucrative?
to raise them up right.
Can you make decent money from a truck? Because we have one that goes through the neighborhood here. Is it decent?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him on the ice cream truck.
Say it one more time.
Oh, she was saying, is it the pay decent? Were you making some decent money doing the ice cream truck? And where were you at the time?
Well, for IRS purposes, ice cream business was terrible. Very terrible.
Nice. I totally understand. It was very hard times.
Yeah, and so I did pay for community college, childcare,
but it was
and
still
was able
awful,
to feed the children.
Right.
Yeah, and my child support. There was nothing left after child support.
We need to up the prices of individual ice creams.
Yeah, single serve.
Yes. Especially the Pikachu popsicle.
The Pikachu pops?
The Pikachu popsicle, that one needs to be raised. And the Spider-Man face, but I hate the Spider-Man face. For some reason, the gumball eyeballs would always drop. And so it looked like, a zombie. And I don't I had to go back to Good Humor one time and was like, hey man, it's like, I'm not selling zombie popsicles. It's like, did this melt? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I got to a point where I opened it up because the character popsicles are your biggest seller, And so if it doesn't look like it already doesn't look like the character, it's a likeness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when the Spider-Man popsicle looks like it's got, coronavirus,
Let's get it up.
It's like, I don't want this.
Bring it back.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight. You are our first actual live streamed episode. What? So put that in that's
big time
in the memory books or whatever you call them. So thank you so much.
Books.
We're open tomorrow night. Your show's happening. Are we able to make that one?
No, we're going skiing
on Friday, early Friday morning. So, but we'll catch you. Are you emceeing the Jenny Zagrino show?
No, that one's was that the first week or the second week of
it's
July?
like the 14th,
January.
15th, I think.
We podcast with
them. I won't be back until like the 29th.
Okay.
So I'll be all over.
See you
just catch me on Facebook. I'll post stuff. And I most definitely keep in contact with you guys so that way we could do this again. Because we basically have just scratched the surface just a little bit of
we want you sitting talking right there.
In the studio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that will be awesome and fun. So can't wait till you guys have me back.
Woohoo!
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And if we see you at the lounge, we'll meet you in the bathroom. What?
Most definitely.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Have a good
All right.
night.
You guys have a good one.
We
Thank
look
you.
forward
You
to
good night. Peace.
seeing you in person soon.